Hello everybody and welcome back, welcome in. Hello. I believe this is the episode number 8, and I believe this is one where I said, usually people quit these things, they stop doing these podcasts because they just give up right around the number 8 episode, and I still feel loads of ideas just flowing out of my head, and I'm happy I did this podcast because either, I would never get to discuss these topics really with people, so I'm very much appreciative of this forum to discuss. Now that sounds really formal, but it's true. I really enjoy doing this on a weekly basis. Something nice to look forward to. Anyways, I am again recording this on a Thursday instead of a Friday. I know. Sure, look, what can you do? Whatever. Either way, you're still getting the same great content. How long this goes on for, we'll try and give you the goods. But anyways, let's get into this episode, because this episode I was thinking what other topic I could discuss. I've kind of discussed sports quite a bit. So actually I might just continue discussing stuff like that because I kind of like it. So I guess I'll discuss a few small topics throughout the entire show. But the first topic I wanted to discuss was the sports ends of things, because quite a lot of sports are drawing to a close. And so I was thinking, how about I, go through stuff that I've enjoyed, I guess, or predictions, because I've talked about a lot of teams, I guess. So I guess I might want to say their real life, what's going to happen with these teams. I don't know, like I said, at the moment. So currently, the UEFA Champions League, which is pretty much the biggest competition, I would say, in club sports, and that's drawing to a close, and we have seen the first legs of the semi-finals played out. PSG currently are losing 2-1 to City after a bit of a collapse. City have 2 away goals, which is big. Chelsea are currently up on away aggregate against Real Madrid, 1-1. So I believe, PSG have a lot to come back for in the second leg. But I do think City, look, they're a bit cute nowadays. They know how to pull out the bag at the results. And PSG are kind of exciting. I'd argue even more exciting than City. But they fail to know how to win big. And at the moment, I want to say PSG aren't even top of their league. I mean, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be honest. I don't think they're top of their league. So, so they don't have that winning touch in them. Pochettino, make all the jokes you can. They're currently up there with Monaco and Lille, but in reality, they should be way ahead. The quality they have, it's a no-brainer. So PSG, as entertaining as they are, they're not quite as good as people maybe want to make them out to be. So I think Man City will do the job there. They're going to win the League Cup. If I won the League Cup, they're going to win the league. So the Champions League, even a finals appearance would be very impressive for the City team, and it could be argued that the City team going down as one of the greatest City teams ever, and also one of the greatest English teams ever. So it could be interesting. So I do think City will progress, and I think the score will be 1-1. I think the score will be 1-1, and City will comfortably, I guess, progress 3-2. But of course, with the way goes, it'll be comfortable. The next game we have, I'm sorry, actually no, because then that would be even on away goals, would it be? I'm trying to rack my brain here. No, it wouldn't be, because City would have the extra away goal. They've only had 2, So yeah, it wouldn't be even at all. I don't know, I'm weird at the moment. Alright, and Chelsea against Real Madrid. Well, I can tell you now that this game, second leg, I'm really interested in, because I think Real Madrid were actually quite poor in that game. I think they need to step their game, but I think Chelsea are just a bit ahead of them in terms of skills and quality and whatever. And Real Madrid are another team which you go, on paper, it's Real Madrid. Like PSG, you're surely they're dominating their, at least dominating alongside Barcelona, their league. But if you look at the table, Atletico are top and Barca are just level along with Sevilla. So there's quite a bit of a race there for the title at the moment, which is exciting. So another league where they might even, I guess, wouldn't be focused on fully on the league or the Champions League, so they might be caught in two minds there. But I do think Chelsea, they're fighting for their Champions League place. But you know what? They're coming into form at the right time. Real Madrid wouldn't be the same, to be honest. Real Madrid are looking a bit, what's the word? Dodgy as of late. So I think Chelsea will progress. I think it might be a 1-0 late snatch of a goal. And of course, with the away goal, they're already through. So yeah, we're not going to see some major extra time moments. I think this is going to be pretty clear cut in both games. City, Chelsea, another English final. Of course, we got to see Liverpool versus Spurs a few years ago, 2019. So another repeat, another English final. It just shows English teams you know what? They're quality at the moment. When a lot of teams are sort of floundering, English teams are there to pick up the pieces. And I wouldn't even say this is the most like impressive Champions League final ever. I mean, PSG against Bayern, that seems a lot more exciting, to be honest, than Chelsea City. For something like Chelsea City, like we've just seen that in the league, the FA Cup, and of course Chelsea won that, and it was a great game. But hey, we may see that rematch, and hopefully it will be slightly better. I do feel that might be a bit boring Champions League final, but I'm hoping it won't be. But yeah, Champions League finals are usually quite low scoring. I think City will probably nick it. Well, they will nick it, and they'll probably nick it. I don't know. I'm going to say 2-1 to Chelsea City, but the goals will be late. Yeah, there goes. There's Champions League final for Champions League winners, first time ever. Man City. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. I mean, City winning another title. Are you really surprised? Insert shock here, but it's a Champions League, so I guess that's something big for them. And they can finally get that what's the thing off their back, their chip off their shoulders really, and be like, look, we won fucking everything at the stage, to be honest. So we are the big boys now. And I think Liverpool, if you bring up Kanate, I believe in the summer, great signing by the way. They are going to be looking to rebound with Virgil, hopefully coming back, along with Gomez, hopefully, and you can see a more even display next year. Obviously, fans coming back, that's going to help Anfield out a bit. So it'll be basically a very much. I think that will motivate Liverpool to be like, oh my god, look how much they've just shown us up this year. Like we showed them up last year, and it's like that continues on their rivalry. I think Liverpool will look to bounce back big time next year. But I do think a little bit of overhaul still needs to be had at Liverpool. It's still a bit of a weird spot where I'm like, they're in such a funk where it's more than the players at this stage. But anyways, let's get on to our next competition here. Actually, obviously Liverpool. Actually, I'll do my Premier League final predictions here, because I think it's pretty much clear cut for most part at the moment. Like the relegation candidates, Sheffield, West Brom, Fulham, they're going down, lads. No offense, but top 4 is a big one. I'll do top 7 as well. I know that 7th is being awarded to conference, and then 5th and 6th is Europa League, I believe. Maybe I could be wrong there. I think because Tottenham didn't win the cup, maybe that could be the case. Obviously, being the cup winners as they are, FA Cup. Who's in the FA Cup final? I think Leicester. So that could probably be a berth. But anyways, we'll just say top 7 is Europe for the purposes of this. So Man City, they're going to be clear cut first place. 10 points ahead of United with 5 games to go. Yeah, they're not dropping down, lads. I'm sorry. And United, they're playing Liverpool now, so that could be an opportunity for them to drop points. United, I think they're pretty clearly second. I think they're comfortable enough. I think Leicester, I'll be surprised if they picked up enough points to get ahead of them. So I think United, City, that's pretty much clear cut top 2, or City, United even. Then we got Leicester. Leicester are a team who have sort of had this sort of up and down form wise, 2 wins, 2 losses, 3 wins, 2 losses. But I think at this stage Chelsea might just be a little bit too far behind. 4 points with 5 games to go. It still could happen for Chelsea. I think Chelsea. I'll just take a look at their schedule because they are quite packed with Arsenal, City. I do think it might be a bit of a stretch to say, and also they have the FA Cup final and possible Champions League final. I think Chelsea will have a lot on their plate. That's the thing, though. I still think that's going to be a top 4. I can't even see that changing in even order, because I think United and City are comfy at the top. Ooh, actually, you know what? I've just seen Leicester's schedule. They have a tough schedule. They have United, Chelsea, Spurs. They can nearly drop out. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it could happen, but they are quite clearly up in the top 4. Like they're 7 points off. Yeah, I don't know, mate. I think it's staying put as it is. I think top 4 pretty much as it is. I think it would take a massive drop off for those top teams just to drop out, especially Leicester. 7 points clear in the top 4. Yeah, Chelsea. I think they'll maybe stabilize. They're just Chelsea, As regards to 5th and 6th, I mean, we got West Ham, my team. The toughest game we've got coming up is probably Everton. The other games are winnable. If we look at Liverpool, who are just 1 point behind us, they've got United. That's their toughest game. The other games are winnable. So it's actually going to be very much like a rat race for 5th. But again, 5th, if that's on a Europa League, like, it is just battle for Europa League, I suppose, at that stage. So I think, looking at our schedules, I think it's going to be very tough to call, to even go between. I think West Ham will probably beat Burnley, probably beat Brighton, Southampton, West Brom. I think we might win maybe 3 of those games and draw another. So that's 3, 6, 9, 10. And then we might, everything could be one we lose. So we say we pick up 10 points. That would put us onto 65. Liverpool would need to pick up more than that. Say a draw against United. They need 11 points now to, I guess 12 points. So it's 11. They would need 11 points. So they would need, see, I honestly think they could edge it on the last day, but is Crystal Palace, that could be a tough one. I think Liverpool would edge it, they'll get 5th. Even as a West Ham fan, I must say that. So we'll get 6th. I think that might give us Conference League berth. But again, you've got teams like Spurs, Everton, like nipping at our toes, to be honest. And Spurs like have some winnable games here. But it is Spurs, and they have Leicester in last day's season. So I think, we might edge Spurs. For it would be very sad at this stage if West Ham dropped out of the top 7. It really would be. Everton as well, also nipping our toes from 2 points back. We play them, so that's going to be big, and that's going to decide who's going to basically stay in that top 7, I believe. That's going to be a huge game, who's going to be in the top 7. So I think West Ham will just probably edge it in that Everton game, and that will allow us to be top 7. I think we'll finish 6th. I think Spurs are in such a tight space. They'll finish 7th, Everton 8th, and then after that it's just mid-table. Again, look how far Arsenal are. Look how far they've fallen. They're 7 points off top 7, which is crazy. We're not even talking about top 4 with the Arsenal anymore. They're 12 points off top 4. It's crazy to think how times have changed for Arsenal. Anyways, that's my sort of English football look. A roundup, as I should say. And it is been a crazy year for English football, but I think there's a lot to develop still, and even in football as a whole. It's such a changeable environment. It's very hard to predict football in general, especially this year of all years. So I've actually really enjoyed this year, to be honest. I know some people are like, fed up with how our teams perform, but West Ham performing great. Even when we're at our best, it's like, we could lose, to Newcastle. But that's performing great. New teams I know obviously they're big money teams, but new teams competing in that Champions League sort of final places is interesting. And also, new competitions. This Conference League, all this stuff, even if it's maybe negative like the Super League, it's still creating lots of news, lots of buzz around sports that wouldn't have been there before. And I think the argument you make, this is ring football, has brought a lot more attention to football. So I think in one way that has affected the sports world and also created a lot more intrigue in football. Anyways, we're going to move on to basketball, the world of American basketball. I know some of you might not be interested because it depends where our audience comes from. A lot of you are in America. I know basketball is probably like top 3 big sports over in America with like baseball and football. But yeah, I'm a big basketball fan. Anyways, I used to be a bit more, but again, still am. I'm going to predict. This is probably an easier predictions, maybe not actually. We'll predict where everyone's going to finish and then where they're going to finish in the playoffs. So we'll start with Western Conference, is one I'm more familiar with. Jazz are currently top, just slightly edging over the Suns and the Clippers. That top 3 is pretty comfortable, I would say. Clippers are in a fine bit of form. They're in a stable bit of form. Jazz, okay form-wise, and Suns are pretty decent, and Nuggets are actually on a decent bit of form, which is surprising considering our injury to Jamal Murray. Maybe the injury has sort of put a little bit of a emphasis on everyone else performing well. Maybe that'll be the case. But in terms of finishing spots, again, that's quite close. I do think Jazz, Suns and Clippers will probably remain up there. I just think that top 4 is pretty much confirmed, to be honest. Looking at Jazz's last bits of schedule, we play the Nuggets, which is going to be a big game, I guess, for deciding seeding. They also play the Suns, so they've got some tough games coming up. Opportunity to drop games here, or to lose games, and also the Blazers. So it's really actually exciting into the year, to be honest. So I think there's a lot of games there that could slip up on. With the Suns, they have the Warriors, they have the Jazz, obviously, and the Blazers. So a lot of losable games there, possibly. The Clippers, looks like they have a bit of a Lakers, the Knicks, obviously the Nuggets. So there's a lot of head-to-heads which are really interesting. If I would predict where those 4 teams will finish, I'm still going to go with the Jazz. I think they're quality. I think they're a slight bit of a rough patch, but I still think they have quality. I think the Suns, they've already clinched their berth, so it doesn't really. I guess they do want to finish second though, but I guess it all depends on the matches, but I don't know if that's really how the teams think. But anyways, let's just say they finish in that order, because I think that might be the case. Lakers are really dropped down big. They're 5 games back from the Nuggets in 5th, which means they may play us. And I'd really rather them drop to 6th. I don't think that'll happen, to be honest. But it just means they're playing the Nuggets in the first round, which I think is quite favourable for the Lakers. Compared to, say, if they finished, Well, actually, no, maybe not. But for the Nuggets, that's really a bad situation. I mean, I'd rather be 6 at the moment because then I get to play the Clippers or whatever. Or no, sorry, I'd rather just be in a different position than I am now. Yeah, Lakers. I don't see them dropping off further than that. I think they might stabilize. Maybe they can't really get a higher seed than that, to be honest. I guess Lakers are just playing it easy at the moment. Obviously, no LeBron yet. AD is back, but AD has been kind of dodgy as of late, maybe. So I think without the presence of LeBron, it's sort of a lost cause. But obviously, by the playoffs, he probably will be back. Let's be honest. So yeah, let's just say that stays as put. Mavs and Blazers are stuck on 6th and 7th on the same exact record. Actually, sorry, yeah, Mavs have just lost a game less. I think Blazers will pick up that 6th seed. I just think Mavs are as good as they are. Blazers on a bit of more of a streaky run there, 2 wins compared to Mavs 1 game winning streak. Sorry, actually no, Mavs are actually doing okay. Blazers has a really bad record at the moment. They're in a bit of disarray. I just think, Dame, just pick it up in the last 10 games and just sort it out. I think it'll happen. So I think Mavs will finish 7th. Grizzlies and Spurs and Warriors are all on the exact same record, which is quite unprecedented. Well, actually, probably not. But anyways, I think Warriors may they have the best streak out of 10-game run out of the 3 teams. I think they will probably go to 9th. And that means Spurs will drop down to 10th. So that means our 4 teams in the play-in tournament, which is still going on this year, people. And that will be the Blazers, Grizzlies, Spurs, and Warriors. And out of those 4 teams, I'm going to go... there's confirmed our places. We'll just get to the other conference, like where everyone's going to finish, and then we'll get into like the playoffs and stuff. So yeah, Nets are out there on the top, along with Sixers as the top 2 teams. 1 game separates them. So yeah, they're 2 very impressive teams, 2 decent form wise, so not great but like pretty decent. Nets I think will stay at the top. They're just a powerful team. Sixers, honestly, I know people are hyping the Sixers up like big time, but I just don't see the same quality as I do with the Nets. I think Nets have depth. Sixers are good, and Ben Simmons has really proved it this year, but are they as good as the Nets? I don't know, mate. Bucks sit back there on their own, really. Yeah, I can see that happening, just staying put there. Knicks and Hawks are right beside each other. I think Knicks are a bit of a more quality team. Look at they're really coming into great form at the moment, which is great to see because I really like the Knicks. And I appreciate a team coming into form at the end of the year. That's really smart. Obviously just secure their place in the playoffs. Hopefully they don't burn out, which I think might happen in the playoffs. The Hawks sit back there. I think the Hawks will probably just... You know what? I think the Celtics might overtake the Hawks. I think the Hawks aren't that good, and I think the Celtics are better. Below that, I think the Heat are there. Heat might overtake the Hawks. I think the Hawks might actually finish 7th. In terms of 8th, we got the Hornets, Pacers, and Wizards are fighting it out. I think... Hornets I really like the Hornets. I hope they do well. Form-wise, though, the Wizards are 9-1, which is crazy. So they could hop in easily enough. And I think they're looking impressive. I think at the moment, though, the Hornets are a bit young. They're not experienced enough. Wizards, they have that quality about them. Something tells me the Wizards might take that 8th seed. But there's a play-in tournament, obviously. In terms of teams that are going to go tanking, we've got the likes of the Cavs, the Magic, and the Pistons. Pistons, look, they're bad. But the Magic are worse, so I think the Magic might outworse the Pistons and just swipe that last seed there. And in terms of the Western Conference, I feel like the Rockets are down there, and they're pretty much on their own. I mean, you can count in the Thunder and Timberwolves, but no, the Rockets are really bad. They're the worst team probably in the NBA. I would have said the Magic, but the Rockets are 15 wins this year, lads, out of 47 losses, so that's a lot of losses. Let's get to the playoffs, and let's get into like where, what's going to happen, really. So Jazz, in my predictions, we have to do the play-in tournament, obviously, which is really exciting. I love the idea of the play-in tournament. It worked well last year, and I think it will work well again this year. We got the Blazers against I believe it's the first seed against the last seed, I believe. I'm just going to look that up, how the play-in tournament actually works, because I think I always get this one confused. Sort of like different rounds, isn't it? I want to say. I could be very wrong. Imagine if I'm just completely wrong about all this and just bollocks a lot of it. So basically the teams that finish numbers 1 to 6 in standings of each conference will guarantee playoff slots, hopefully the Nuggets, and teams 7 to 10 will enter the play-in tournament. So the number 7 team will face the number 8 team. So in my predictions, Blazers will face... Sorry, I think I messed this up. I think the Mavericks will face the... Oh god, I messed this up. The Mavericks will face the Warriors, I'm going to say. The Mavericks against the Warriors, the 7th against the 8th seed. So out of those two teams, I'm going to go with the Warriors. I'm going to go with the Warriors. The Mavs have just been kind of okay in terms of form, but the Warriors have stepped it up. And I think that's for the right time to step up. Curry is just unbelievable at the moment. He's nearly at the MVP level. He could argue he is. He's been the best form-wise player in the NBA. And the winner will earn them number 7 seed. So that's Warriors at 7th. That'll be nice. The loser will stay on for one more opportunity. So that means the 9 will face the 10, and the winner will face the loser number 7. So Mavs will face the winner of the 9 and 10. So there you go. So so it is good to have the higher seed, but it's not like out of the question having like losing. You have a advantage, but again, if you're a lower seed, if you lose, you're gone. So 9-10, I'm gonna say the Spurs against the Grizzlies. So out of those two teams, let's just say Spurs. I know you have Ja Morant, fair enough. But Spurs probably a little bit more solid in my opinion. So now we have San Antonio Spurs versus the Mavs for a chance to get that 8 seed, with Warriors taking the 7 seed. And I will say, I've forgotten how I said. Spurs against Mavericks. I'm going to say Mavericks. They're not great form wise at the moment. Mavericks, they have that a little something about them, little star quality Doncic. You don't see the star quality with DeRozan, do you? No. And of course, you want to see Doncic and Porzingis in the playoffs. God. Right, there's my top 8 predictions. So it's Jazz against the Dallas Mavericks. That's going to be a fun series. You got Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert against the likes of Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. The goat, the unicorn. Not really anymore, but anyways, whatever. I'm going to say, I think Jazz will do this, and they'll do it 4-2. I'm not fully confident that Jazz are this playoff behemoth yet. Great in the regular season, sure, but in the playoffs, meh. Again, I think hopefully our boy Mitchell is back. Obviously their form has dipped slightly in his absence. I want to check if he's back soon. News. What is the news on Donovan Mitchell? Injury? Question mark? If he's back, it's guaranteed 4-2. It's an ankle injury anyways. I remember him getting it a few days ago against the Wolves, of all teams. Fuck the Wolves. Getting this beast injured. He'll be out at least another week. Okay, it's not serious at all. Yeah, I will say he'll be back. Donovan Mitchell, great player, one of my favorite players in the NBA. It'll be 4-2 because, look, they lost the Nuggets. They could have easily won, sure, but they're capable of dropping games. They're capable of amazing, blowout games. They're also capable of dropping games big time and actually getting blown to themselves the odd time. So, I do think the Jazz will drop 2 games, but whatever, it'll be a fun series against the Mavericks, but it'll be pretty clear-cut who's going to win that. Next up, we have Suns against the Golden State Warriors. And look, I am going to say this is going to be a really fun series. You've got the 2 star players of the Suns, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, the veteran, he knows what to do in the playoffs, against the veteran of the Warriors and the legend, Steph Curry, and also Draymond Green, who's having a great season. This could easily be an upset, honestly. Suns have done well this year, and I commend them for that. But they have not too much experience in the playoffs. And even though Chris Paul is great, Devin Booker, what has he done? So I think this may be an upset. And I think the Warriors will do the upset. I think Steph Curry will carry them to defeat the Suns. I know, look, there's not much evidence of the other players on the team performing well, but I think Steph Curry can nearly do it on his own, to be honest, lads. I think he's that good. So I think this is going to be my hot take. I know this is probably a stupid take, but I'm going to say it because I want some upsets to happen in the playoffs, and they usually do, 1 or 2. So an early loss, like the Clippers, that was pretty much an upset. I know it's beating them. So I'm going to take the Warriors, boy. It's going to go 7 games, 4-3. It's going to start off with the Suns dominating and be like, okay, this is normal. And then Warriors were like, well, we're the Warriors, lads. We have a history of winning. So Steph Curry is going to go berserk in game 5 and 6 and just take it over and just win. And 7. So I'm going to say Warriors are through. So our first 2 teams are confirmed. Then we've got the Clippers against the Blazers. Clippers have a history of just being bad in the playoffs, we can all say. They're coming into nice form, which is good. The Blazers, also have a history of not doing so well in the playoffs as well. So it'll be interesting. Dame Dollar, obviously amazing again, and I think he might lead his team against this Clippers team. This could be another upset. Wow, I'm already saying it again. Look, I'm not overly amazed by this Clippers team. I get they're solid or whatever. I get Paul George is saying, "Oh, I'm actually not as bad as you think I am." But I think that Clippers loss last year to the Nuggets has really I think in their playoffs mentality, it's going to be completely harmed by that loss last year, and I think it might be very tough for the Clippers to win that one. And I'm going to go for my second upset. I think the Blazers. I think they got fire about them. I don't know. I just see it happening big time. I see it more than the other upset. I think the Blazers are going to win this one in 6 games, 4-2, and they are going to destroy the Clippers. And I want to see it happen, lads. I have a friend who supports the Blazers, and I'm like, gonna annoy me because they eliminate the Nuggets one year. But look, I would love to see the Clippers get done. That's what I'd love to see. So I'm gonna call it, lads. Blazers beating the Clippers. Another upset, bang. Next one I don't see as an upset, unfortunately. It's the Nuggets against the Lakers. I think the Lakers will win it. I think LeBron will be back and we'll all be like, oh my god, LeBron here to rescue us. Maybe Nuggets will take one game and be like, ooh, the hope here, the hope. But without Murray, I don't know, mate. It's hard to see. Really sad to see him come out with an ACL injury. I didn't know if I talked about this before, but it's just really sad. Really depressing, to be honest. One of the players you're like, great lad. And he's just got such a playoff mentality about him. I think it's going to take a big chip out of the Nuggets. Look, regular season, not too much of a worry. We can win some matches in close games, but I don't know, in the playoffs, man, it's going to be hard against the champions. So yeah, I think the Lakers will take it in 6 games, 4-2. Again, I don't know. Depressing one for the Nuggets, but I guess we'll have to go again next year. So into the next round, we will see the top teams here being the Jazz. I forget how the playoff tree works, actually. I just want to take a look at that. I always forget what the order is like. Tree 2021. Will it show me the playoff tree? Here we go. Okay. Yes. So the play-in tournament, and then you go see like, whoa. Okay, it's not showing me. It's just showing me the play-in tournament. It's not showing me the actual tree. It might show the tree from the last year, just how it worked, because this always confuses me to bits. Right, yeah. So last year we had the Nuggets. Yeah. No, that wasn't last year. Anyways, just for example, yes. So say we have an upset in the top game. No, we don't. Yeah, we do. Utah versus, who did I say? Oh, I guess Warriors. No, Utah versus. God, my brain's messed. The Mavericks. So Utah's going to win. They will play the winner of the 4th and 5th. And the 4th and 5th in my situation will be Lakers. So it's going to be the Utah versus the Lakers. That's going to be cool, man. That is going to be good. And I am going to say Lakers. And it's going to be bad for the Jazz having to play Lakers this early. But hey, this is life. Lakers will take it in 6 games. I think. I know Lakers sort of just destroyed every team last year. There are a lot of stronger teams this year, but I think Lakers will do it pretty comfy here. Actually, no, it won't be so comfy, but they'll still do it in 6 games. Like, it'll be competitive 6 games for the Lakers. But you know what? They'll still do it. Then we got the 3rd against the 6th, which I called. And then the winner of the 3rd and 6th against the winner of the other 2 teams that I've predicted going through, which are the Blazers and the Warriors, who I just said we're going to pull the upset as well. So 2 teams that pull big upsets. That's going to be a great series. And I'm going to say, wow, am I going to pick the Warriors to get through to the second Western Conference Finals? Apparently I am, because I just see a buzz around the Warriors. I know, the Warriors, they're just the Warriors. But look, lads, they only have a 500-1 record, and I'm going, yes, Warriors. Oh man, I just have a buzz around them. I don't know why. I'm going to say Warriors get through, and it's going to be the weirdest one. It's going to be the Nuggets, I guess, a worse team getting through. The Warriors, Steph is just going to carry him on his fucking back. He's like, this is it, now or never. I know Clay's coming back next year, but now or never, I'm going to do it. Somehow, Andy Wiggins is going to pick up some sort of flash of lightning. And then, of course, the Western Conference Finals, Lakers against Warriors. That's easy. Lakers win that. I think they're going to bring them back to earth, and they're going to beat them in 5 games, 4-1. They're going to what the fuck are you doing in the Western Conference Finals? You shouldn't be here. Like the Nuggets last year. It was like 4-1. Nope, not happening, mate. You're gone. So that's exactly what's going to happen. And the Lakers are going to have a pretty easy run to the finals somehow. Regarding minus that Jazz series, going to be pretty tough for them. Anyways, going to the Eastern Conference, we have the play-in tournament, which I kind of mentioned there. Actually, did I? Yeah, I'm going to say... Yeah, I was gonna say that was the teams that were in this. Yeah, I don't think it will change really. We'll see Raptors and maybe Bulls. I think Bulls may sneak a seed. Nah, I think it'll stay as put, and I think the order will pretty much stay as put. So yeah, play-in tournament. I'd say Heat against the Wizards. Sorry, yeah, is that correct? No, yeah, it's Heat against Hornets. I'm gonna say Hornets. I think Hornets are really impressive and I'm really good, even though they're kind of out of form at the moment. Then with the Pacers against the Wizards, I'm gonna go with the Wizards. I think Wizards are strong enough. And then Wizards against the Heat, I'm gonna say Wizards. So the 7th seed is gonna be the Hornets, and the 8th seed is going to be the Wizards. Nice. Next up we have the Nets versus the Wizards. This is a nice one, really tasty one. Obviously, you got Russell Westbrook just going on an absolute tear recently, and then you got James Harden got an absolute tear this year. So that'll be fun. But I think the Nets will do it, and I think something about me thinks that the Nets will be a bit shaky starting off here. So I think it's gonna make it 7 games. They'll still win 4-1, lads. But they'll be a bit shaky in one of the games. But they'll prove themselves, and they'll be like, well, we don't need to defend. We're that good on the offensive end. Providing any injuries happen, I think they'll be safe. They've had their injury trouble obviously already this year. Sixers taking on the Heat. Sorry, not the Heat. The Hornets. I'm so messed up with this. The Sixers against the Hornets. Look, I'm really not tuned into the Eastern Conference that much. Don't watch that much, but I know the Hornets are really entertaining. But unfortunately, the Sixers are very clinical, and that's more important than entertainment, as we've seen from the PSG City game. So I think the clinicalness of the Sixers will overdo the Hornets. But guys, I'm predicting this. No, I don't think it'll be a 7-game series, let's be honest. No, this will be a 6-game. No, it won't be. It'll be a 5-game. Another kind of a blowout here. Look, as much as I love the entertainment of the bottom half teams in the Eastern Conference, they're a lot worse than the class-wise than the Western Conference teams, top to bottom. Which is why Western Conference always excites me a bit more. So I'm going to say the Sixers are going to win it 4-1. Hornets will take a game, but they will all know they'll be the most entertaining team out there in the NBA. But they will also not be the greatest quality-wise. So yeah, that's how that's going to roll anyways. Getting into our next match here, we have the Milwaukee Bucks against the Boston Celtics. Another game where they're pretty much even teams, in my opinion. I think the Celtics have underperformed, but listen to me. They've got some quality with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They really do. And clutchness. And, Giannis, he is the most clutch player in the playoffs, mate. He isn't. He really isn't. So this is going to be an upset. Celtics are going to beat the Bucks in 7 games. It's going to be a game winner from your boy Jason Tatum. And that's going to do it. And they're going to win. Anyways, on to the next game with the Knicks against the Hawks. Oh dear. I did actually say the Celtics would move up, didn't I? Yeah, okay, well, sure, look, we'll just stick what we had at the moment because it's really confusing to change my predictions. We'll just say Knicks against Hawks. Yeah, I guess the Knicks will win that one. I mean, Julius Randle's a beast. He really is. And their form-wise just out the roof. So yeah, I guess, yeah, that's how it's going to go. Second round, people. The winner of the 1st and 8th seed goes against the winner of the 4th and 5th. And in my predictions, it's going to be the Knicks versus the Nets. So the Nets are going to win. It's going to be a blowout, lads. It's going to be 4-0. I know. First one I predicted. Yeah. I know I'm not too hyped about the Nets. I am pretty hyped about the Nets. With all those 3-star players, it's just so hard not to look past them. Even Blake Griffin performing at his major big level right now. So yeah, Nets are going to do it 4-0. Sorry, Knicks fans. Keep waiting for your title. Yeah, anyways. And yeah, what's our next one here? Right. It's going to be the third and sixth against the second and seventh. So other two teams. We have the Celtics we've predicted to go through with a big upset, and we have our. Who did I predict? Jeez, I'm losing my mind here. Did the Wizards want to get through? No, I didn't. Sixers versus Celtics, right? Am I losing my mind? I feel like I'm losing my mind. Nets get through, or then they get through that one. Celtics were going to beat the Sixers now. Celtics beat fuck's sake. Yeah, Sixers were through, and then Celtics were through, right? I'm not wrong there. Yeah, okay. Celtics pulled it off the upset in the first round. Yeah, it's going to be Celtics Sixers. Another fucking Celtics Sixers game. A nice little rivalry there. Who am I going to pick to win that? Fuck. I guess the Sixers are going to edge it in 7 games. And it's a fun 7-game series, 4-3. Just to have a little bit more quality about them. Obviously evident given their record. But it will be a lot closer than I guess some people think. But I will enjoy this series a lot. So yeah, there you go. Your Western Conference Finals, Eastern Conference have been predicted. And in the Eastern Conference Final, I will say the Nets against the 76ers. That's what we all want to see. The Nets will do it in 6 games, mate. They're going to go 4-2, baby. They're going to go 4-2. It's very, very underwhelming conference finals, in my opinion. And yeah, you're going to see the Lakers versus the Nets. We all want to see it. What's the result going to be? 41-21, 42-20 from the Nets. A really nice nice conference record, to be honest, or nice sort of regular season record against the more underwhelming 36-26. But of course, the Lakers are champions, so it doesn't really matter. Will Nets? I believe this is our first ever championship final appearance. Is it? No, is it? Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. They've been there before. Surely they've done this. Down these roads, these murky roads. But yeah, this will be a big historic moment for the Lakers. Obviously, the Nets. Obviously, the Lakers have been here so many times. It's just experience, isn't it? Yes, so they've won 2 championships in the ABA, but none in the NBA. They've actually had 2 conference titles. Obviously, back when I think Jason Kidd played for them. Don't quote me on that. But this is going to be a step too far for the Nets, maybe. Oh, could I predict the upside? There's a lot of depth in the Nets, but also a lot of depth in the Lakers. A lot of star power in each team. Possibly more so in the Nets. I would be happy to see the Nets win. I really don't like the Lakers. And I'm going to go with it, boys. Finally going to see the Nets win. A new team in the Champions League final winners. And a new team in the NBA winners. And I'm going to see the Nets do it in 7 games. 4-3. It's going to be one of the best finals series we've seen since the Cavs against the Warriors. Another classic to go right down to the wire, where I believe KD will pull up for the jumper for the winner. LeBron will be crying after this game, and it will be sad, but it won't be sad because I'll be laughing. And there you go, NBA 2021 winners, the Brooklyn Nets. Right, it took a while to get all the NBA stuff. There's so many teams to talk about, 30 teams to talk about, and the team that will get the number 1 seed. Yeah, Houston Rockets. They're in a bit of a mess though. I don't know if they do much with that number 1 seed. Right, that was my little talk about the NBA, the Premier League, the Champions League. Is there any more leagues I could talk about? No, I think... Actually, rugby, I haven't talked about rugby. May just predict that right now because Champions Cup is still on. No Johnny Sexton for Leinster, which is a big deal. We all know. And that could hamper them big time because he's kind of a major cog in the team. Obviously with kicking and stuff like that. Even for Ireland, it's a big deal when he's missing. Hopefully just for the 1 game. They're against La Rochelle, who I want to see where they finish in their division. Well, just look at the Champions League Cup because they finished just below Leinster on 9 points. In terms of their finishing in, say, like the domestic league, the French league, I'm guessing. Excuse me. Looks like a nice place. Just looked up on Google. I'm guessing South France, I want to say. They are second, just behind Toulouse by 5 points. So yeah, I think Leinster will still very much have the firepower after that Pro 14 title victory 4 in a row, that they will do it. They will do the job and they will beat La Rochelle probably by 15 points. 15 points, people. So yeah, you're going to be seeing no real surprises there. And they'll make their both the place in final alongside Toulouse against Bagels. Bagels? How many says that? So it's going to be an all-French semi-final here. And look, the difference wise in class, Toulouse 20 points ahead of Bordeaux. In terms of the Champions Cup, Bordeaux finished just behind Leinster, ahead of La Rochelle actually, while Toulouse finished just a bit ahead on points and just behind Lyon. So while they might be the European like powerhouses, in terms of domestically, Toulouse are just a force to be reckoned with, really. And of course, historically, they're tied with Leinster for the most Championship Cups with 4. So I do think Toulouse will pretty much romp them 20 points. And that will make a really interesting final. Leinster versus Toulouse. Who is going to do the job? Obviously, Leinster top their divisions. They're pretty much both sides. They've got the experience, the powerhouse. In terms of recent years, Toulouse really haven't done it too much. Like their last title was, I think it was like 10 years ago, and they won 4 times. So recently it's been more, Saracens dominance, and Leinster. Looking at their history, 96, 2003, 2005, and 2010. So it's been 11 years to return to the hallowed ground. Do I think they can do it? Look, they have been impressive, to be honest. Leinster have also been very impressive. It's a really tough one to call. If we're going off like recent games, Leinster have basically won every single game up to this point, and they're on a very much a domestic, like they haven't been matched since the Ospreys game, I suppose. They did lose that one. They did lose a Munster game, pretty much a friendly though. So really, can we count that? They've pretty much been romping everyone in every game. If you look at Toulouse, same thing. They beat Racing, very impressive. They did lose to Castres, but they beat Clermont. They beat Munster in the postseason. Beat Montpellier, and how am I going to call this one? Leinster usually get caught up here. I think Johnny Sexton will be back. That's grand. But yeah, I'm going to go... Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm going to go Leinster by 5. I think Leinster will just edge it and get their 5th star, just putting them above Toulouse. It'll be a great final. Great to watch. Just two dominant teams historically. And I think, that'll be the final results. So yeah, there are my rugby predictions. And of course, I will do Euro close to the time. I'll say it's a bit too close to, a bit far away to call that one. But yeah, will I continue on this episode? Or have I said enough? No, I want to give myself a break to edit this and get it done for dinner. So I'm gonna part with you guys. It's been a really fun one. I'm gonna talk about movies in this one, but again, when I talk about sports, I get carried away a bit. So yeah, that's gonna be the episode, just a sporting bonanza. But next week, hopefully, I'll maybe talk about movies, TV shows, stuff I'm into that's kind of different from what I'm usually talking to, because I want to expand my horizons a little bit with these episodes. Also, there's a few secret projects I'm on at the moment. I've actually a little project I did at the moment, which I'm not going to tell you what it was yet. I'm going to leave it as a little surprise till when it happens officially. And yeah, it'll be something in the works anyways. So I'm going to leave it be. But anyways, been a pleasure talking to you guys, and I'll see you all later. Good luck.